everybody, it is bright and early on a Tuesday, and in this video we are going to talk about how to actually show up for yourself. In recent videos I've talked a lot about motivation, consistency, and today we're going to dive in a little bit deeper. So specifically when I say showing up for yourself, I mean when you have a task at hand that you have to get done, how do you actually get yourself to do it? And we're going to break down the video into 3 different chunks: motivation, accountability, and implementation. I will say that a lot of this is pulled from the world of like sports psychology, but a lot of this is also just my personal experience working with people one-on-one. So that being said, if this is your first time here, my name is Justina. I'm a personal trainer based out of New York whose goal is to bring you the tools so that you can stay moving and healthy for your life. If that sounds good to you, I would love for you to hit that subscribe button to stick around. And let's chat really quickly about the day. I actually have a feeling, no, we're just gonna say now, this video is gonna be over the next 3 days because today ended up being way busier than I thought, and I really don't want to feel rushed getting all of this information out. So throughout the video, you'll see like little snippets of my day, and then we'll come back today, tomorrow, and Thursday to talk about those 3 different pillars. But really quickly, let's just chat through the day. That ring light is aggressive. Today's the busy day. I have a class that I'm teaching virtually at 7:30, so in about 45 minutes. And it is to Taylor Swift's new album, The Life of a Showgirl. It'll be filmed and uploaded onto the Fit Gloves portal, so if you missed it, you can always take it later. Then I've got to edit that class. I have a virtual client at 9. Then we're going on a speed run today. We have 400-meter repeats. Then I have another virtual at 11. We've got a nice break in there where we will come back and we'll talk about that first pillar or that first step. I'm taking a continuing education course today all about plyometrics. We do like a live workout on Tuesdays. Then I'm going to start editing a video that goes up tomorrow. In there I do have a virtual consultation for a potential new custom programming client. That's the service where I like write you programming, you do it on your own. Then I have a client in person at 5:15. I'm coming home, one more consultation for a potential new client, and then Kevin is making us grilled cheese tonight for dinner, which I'm very excited about. So that's the day today. I have to get a little bit of admin work done before I get up and set up for class, but I will see you along the way and we will come back to chat this afternoon. Squat stance, arms around. We're going to stay low. Little hops. My legs are cooked. All right, it's almost lunchtime. So before we make lunch, let's actually chat about what we're chatting about today. So like I said, this video is going to be broken up into 3 different chunks: motivation, accountability, and implementation. So today is all about motivation. I have a handful of other videos all about motivation, but I think the thing we've probably heard before is that motivation is fleeting. And the best way to actually get motivated is to take action. Every once in a while, you might be motivated first to take the action, but a lot of times action does have to come first. So let's break this down into like a few different prompts to help build your little bucket of motivation to pull from. And we're going to use me as a test subject. I highly recommend you do this along with me, whether you want to open up your phone, write it in a notes app, get out your journal, but this should be interactive right now. So the first thing I want you to think about is what gets you excited. Thinking about this in terms of a workout, so workout specifically for me, I love kettlebell work. I love good music. I love chest pressing. I love getting out of this room and leaving the apartment to go do other things. I love learning new skills. Those are all of the things that get me really excited in relation to actually working out. Now, there's no rules here. Maybe something else gets you excited. Maybe you get excited by repetition. Maybe you get excited by novelty. Maybe you get excited by working out with other people. Maybe you get excited about having that time to yourself. There are no rules here. I actually think it's better for you to just brain dump and then you can sort through everything later. So then moving into prompt number 2, what gets you to take action? Again, bringing it back to me, what gets me to take action is a workout program on a schedule. I'm a simple gal. But let's maybe like zoom out and think of this in broader terms, because maybe you don't know what gets you to take action to do your workout. Like maybe that's why you're you're here. So let's just think of like life and things that you have to do. What gets you to take action on a task that you have to get done, but you don't necessarily want to? What gets you to cook dinner? What gets you to do laundry? What gets you to clean out the junk drawer? Is it a deadline? Is it pressure from another human counting on you? It might seem silly to like go to those types of things as examples, but really what we're trying to do is like look at what gets you as a person to actually take action, because that's going to be a huge part in actually what gets you to take action to get motivated. Are we seeing how these things connect now? It might seem silly right now to kind of like look at daily tasks like that, but remember, we're really looking at ourselves as humans, as individuals, and what's getting us to take action. Because as we already talked about, action a lot of times has to come before motivation. So if we're not taking action in our workouts, where are we taking action elsewhere, and how do we actually do that? So the third prompt I want you to think about is, what reward or outcome will there be after you take action? So if we're sticking with workouts, for me personally, I have enough workout and training history now that like I just know that 99% of the time I'm going to feel better. I'm going to feel better physically, mentally. I'm going to be more accomplished. So really think of this from like a body and mind place. Maybe your brain works in a little bit different way of like, the more reps I get in a certain exercise, the closer I'm going to become to this physical or like skill-based outcome that I'm looking for. Or maybe it's really literal and it's like I get a literal reward after I do this workout. I have been known to bribe myself with a post-workout iced coffee on days where I cannot find a lot of motivation. So once you have those 3 prompts kind of brain dumped, you're going to start to notice some trends, hopefully, about how you approach things as a human being and how we can start to tie those things into building maybe a new habit of a consistent workout. So with that, we have to make lunch because I'm really hungry. You're going to see little bits and pieces of the rest of today, but tomorrow we're going to talk all about, once we understand our motivation, how do we now start to build a little bit of accountability for ourselves. So let's go make lunch. We're going to have a sandwich, and I will chat with you again tomorrow.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you know what it is. Rest in peace, Mac, don't trip. Gotta thank Coda for the hit. Hobby turn a hobby to legit. Now we body every bitch. Still a bougie bitch talking that bullshit. So why you throwing shade on me? Cause I just do my thing low key. But nigga, while I'm doing Tai Chi, never met a motherfucker like me. Yeah, man, what's up? You don't really got no crystal ball. Shut the fuck up. I don't wanna hear that shit at all. You too stuck up, but ain't no problem that I could've solved. Always on a trip, always into some shit. Gotta be that told me.
Good morning. Well, it's actually almost noon. Today actually hasn't even been that busy. It's not. There we go. It's not a busy day. I just kind of like got sucked into work, but I had an in-person client at 8 a.m. and I came home and I hopped right into editing a YouTube video that's going live on Saturday. I got a little bit more content prepped, and now we're going to talk about accountability. But before we do that, just so you know what the rest of the day looks like, I do have 2 virtual consultations. I'm doing some movement assessments, bringing on 2 new clients for like remote programming, and then we have an upper body lift today. Easy day. So this is a big one. And the purpose of this chunk is to figure out, how do you build accountability? It's definitely a spectrum, but I think that people fall either more on like the internal accountability or external accountability side of things. And I also think that this can change over time, and it probably changes depending on the task at hand. Me personally, I'm very internally accountable for most things in my life. I put a lot of pressure on myself. I've always been that way. I've always been very independent. That's not necessarily like a good or bad thing. I prefer to keep this entire chunk very morally neutral. I think, especially in the US with like hustle culture, it's typically viewed that like being internally accountable or motivated is like better than other options. But I think it's more important instead to just like identify the type of person you are for the task at hand and then make decisions from there. But anyway, so first step here is just to identify, do you fall in the spectrum a little bit closer toward like internal accountability or external? Then what we can start to tie in here is this idea of punishment versus reinforcement. And with those 2 things, we have positive and negative options. So let's start with punishment. This sounds like very BDSM. Okay, so starting with punishment, let's say we have positive and negative punishment. Positive is always going to be adding something, negative is always going to be taking away something. So an example of positive punishment would be, okay, if I don't do my workout today, I have to do 2 extra miles running on the treadmill tomorrow. So again, we're punishing ourselves for not doing something by adding something in. On the flip side, we could have negative punishment. This is where we're subtracting something or taking something away. For example, if I don't do my workout today, I don't get to go out with my friends this weekend and have a fun drink. So then on the flip side, we have reinforcement. And again, we can do this positively or negatively. An example of positive reinforcement or adding something. If I do my workout today, I get to treat myself to an iced coffee on the way home. So I'm adding in the iced coffee as reinforcement. I think we're getting the idea here. And then we can have negative reinforcement, taking something away. If I do my workout today, I get to close my laptop early and stop work. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you which options are best for you to create accountability. Personally, I do great with positive reinforcement. So that's adding in something that's like good. I'm currently working with a coach who writes programming for me and I do it on my own time. And personally, I'm not working with her from like an accountability standpoint. I'm trying to like learn more and prep my body as I'm adding more mileage into my runs and keep myself healthy. But the thing that I really look forward to are the little notes of like congratulations at the end of the workout. So that's a great example of positive reinforcement. I've done my workout, so now I'm getting something that's good. I get my gold star. Can you tell I'm a teacher's pet? So I think that's a great prompt just to sit down and again, brain dump these things. Where do you fall on that spectrum of accountability? What do you respond to best? Everybody is a different human. And I think it's silly to approach consistency and showing up for yourself and achieving your goals from a one size fits all perspective. So anyway, that's our little sit down chat for the day. Like I said, I don't have that much more going on, but I'll kind of take you through, show you bits and pieces. And tomorrow we will wrap it up with how do we implement all of this information. We've sat down, we've done the brain dumping, how do we tie it all together? But in the meantime, I need to eat. I'm starving. So let's go eat lunch. Let's chat. It's about noon right now. Let's kind of chat about like what you've witnessed already today. So I had a virtual client at 8, another one at 9. I just got back from therapy and I like devoured lunch really quickly. About to hop onto a consultation with a new remote programming client. I just picked up a few new people to replace people who dropped off. So that's why I have a lot of that this week. But we're going to do a quick movement assessment. After that, I'm going to go get in a quick recovery run at the gym. I have to film something on the Smith machine. Then I have another consultation. I got to get a little filming done. And then we got the Phillies and the Eagles game tonight, baby. I don't even want to like talk about how I feel about those two teams right now. So anyway, let's finish out this video. We're going to talk about the third kind of pillar or step here, which is implementation. So again, I have a few different videos already on the channel of like consistency and motivation, but we're going to really take the time to dive into implementation, meaning how do we take everything we just learned from all of those prompts and how do we actually do it? Like I always say when I talk about this type of thing of implementation, this is going to be kind of like a throw spaghetti at the wall and hopefully something sticks moment, because obviously every single human is very different in terms of like what actually gets them to implement things. But a few things to think about. Are you a calendar person? Do you need reminders set on your phone? Do you need an accountability buddy? Are you someone who needs to zoom out and schedule long term, or do you need to take it day by day? Do you have a plan B in case plan A, what you've planned to do, goes wrong? Do you need to put your phone on do not disturb? Do you need to set a timer during your workout to stay on the task at hand? Again, I'm just throwing things out there at you for you to start to brainstorm and think about, but let me explain to you my system just so you get kind of an idea of like how I actually implement all of the things that I'm trying to get done in terms of my strength training and running goals. So first up in my system, I get my workouts from my coach. Right now we're doing 3 workouts a week, a full upper and lower body split, and we're doing 3 runs a week, a speed run, a recovery run, and a long run. So that's step number 1. She tells me what to do. Step number 2, I am going to look at my calendar on Sundays and I am planning out exactly when I'm doing each workout. But in the back of my head, I'm having a plan B because my clients kind of have open reign on my schedule within my working hours. So if I plan something out, I'm either going to A, know where the plan B is if I have to move it, or B, if there is no plan B, I'm blocking that time out in my calendar because that's how important my movement goals are to me. And that's pretty much it. Again, I personally am not only just like more of a self-motivated, internally accountable type of person, but I also have years of testing out different systems under my belt. If you've been here for a while, you know that my workout routine pre-COVID or even like 2 or 3 years ago looked pretty different to what it does now. I also always like to acknowledge that like I'm really privileged in the fact that I work for myself. I work primarily from home. So I just have a lot of flexibility in my schedule. So the steps that I'm taking, you might, instead of having like 2 or 3 steps, you might need to take 7 steps in terms of your system of implementing these things. Maybe you're someone who needs to set out your gym clothes the night before. Maybe then if you work in office, you're wearing your gym clothes out of the office, you go right to the gym. If you're a morning workout person, maybe you're setting up your phone or your alarm across the room so you have to physically get out of bed to actually turn off your alarm in the morning. Again, I have a lot of other videos that kind of touch on all of these things, but I know sometimes it seems silly to like micromanage all of these little aspects, and in your brain you're just like, I should just be able to do these things, right? But sometimes you do need to really peel it back, take a step back and look at the minutia, the teeny tiny little details, because then you can get to a system that is just those 2 steps. So anyway, I have like 10 minutes till my next client, so we're gonna actually sign off the video here. Thank you guys so much for spending a few days with me. If you have any questions about anything we chatted about in this video, I would love to hear about it down in the comments below. As always, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on future videos, and I will see you in the next one.